Hey, Moby Trades! I want to do a video analysis update of the stock market. We'll talk about the S&P, as well as Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, and AMD, Qualcomm and Netflix, Amazon, Starbucks, AstraZeneca and Chevron, Boeing and Draftkings, Platinum and Tesla, Enphase Energy and Plug Power, Lucid Motors and NEO, NetEase, Facebook, Twitter and Snapchat, Fiverr, Square Cash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. So, SPY forms a wave 1 and a wave 2. It has a huge wave 3, and it ends wave 4 at the 38.2% fib. Wave 3 passed the length of wave 1, place of the wave 2 low. I believe wave 4 has ended, and we're within wave 5 right now. We'll hold above 410 and go the length of wave 1, place of the wave 4 low, all the way to 550. Here's Apple. It formed a wave 1 and a wave 2. Then it has a huge wave 3, and it ends wave 4 at the 50% fib. The length of wave 1, place of the wave 4 low, gives a conservative wave 5 target of about 192. I think it's actually going to be the length of wave 3, place of the wave 4 low, and we're going to go all the way to 216 for Apple. I think Apple and Microsoft and SPY all hold the wave 4 lows. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2. A huge wave 3 for Microsoft, and a wave 4 that ends at the 38.2 to 50% fib. The length of wave 1, place of the wave 4 low, gives a conservative wave 5 target of 371. A more aggressive and more accurate wave 5 target is the length of wave 3, place of the wave 4 low. That'll take Microsoft up to 421. We'll talk about why the more aggressive view may occur with the semis. Here's a wave 1 and a wave 2 for Nvidia, and this is a big wave 3 and a wave 4 that ends at the 50 to 61.8% retracement. Now, a lot of times when something ends at the 61.8 to 50% retracement, it's a wave 2 and not another wave 3 and a wave 4, but it doesn't really matter in my opinion. I think it's a wave 3 and a wave 4. The length of wave 3 placed at the wave 4 low, or the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 2 low. So we're going to go on a rally that is replicating this move, and we're going to go all the way up to 430 for Nvidia. And we'll hold above 206. Here's AMD. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2. This is a 7-month rally from May to November. This is a wave 2 that ended at the 61.8% retracement. The length of wave 1, place of the wave 2 low, gives a conservative wave 3 target of 190. Even if there was a shallow wave 4 that retests the wave 1 high, the length of wave 1, place of the wave 4 low, says waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the big picture, in the long term, could take AMD up to the 250s. I think we hold above the 78.6% fib of 92 for now. Here is Qualcomm. It's a wave 1 and a wave 2, a wave 3 and a wave 4. And then from this low, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2 that ends at the 61.8 to 78.6% retracement. The length of wave 1, place of the wave 2 low, gives a conservative wave 3 target of 209. A more aggressive target and a more accurate target is the 161.8% extension of wave 1, which is 236 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. If wave 5 is the length of wave 1, place of the wave 4 low, then all in all, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 above 122 can take Qualcomm all the way to 260 for waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here's Netflix, here's Amazon, and Starbucks. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a big wave 1, and an ABC correction wave 2. They ended at the 78.6% retracement. I think we hold 329, and we've begun wave 3. The length of wave 1, place of the wave 2 low, says the conservative wave 3 target is 800 before a shallow wave 4. And a wave 5 higher. Netflix I like for the long term, but I don't think it's going to be as long term as we think. I think this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. I think this is a big wave 3 and an ABC correction wave 4 for Amazon at the 38.2 to 50% retracement. Amazon, I think, is getting evidence from Tesla within XLY, and I think it also has a little bit of evidence with this Starbucks setup that we'll go over. But this is a big wave 3 and a wave 4. The length of wave 3, place of the wave 4 low, says we'll hold above about 2,660, 2,700. We're going to go on a wave 5 higher up to 4,821 for Amazon. Here is Starbucks. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave 1. This is the ABC wave 2. They got a new CEO. I think they've begun a new cycle at the 61.8% retracement. The length of wave 1, place of the wave 2 low, says while you're debating about Howard Schultz, right? So I think Starbucks is going to go up to 154 for a conservative wave 3 target before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. If wave 4 retests the wave 1 high and wave 5 is the length of wave 1, place of the wave 4 low, then all in all, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can take Starbucks up to 201. If we're above the 78.6% fib, that's valid, but I'm just going to hold Starbucks for the long haul and for that dividend growth. I love dividend growth stocks. So anyway, here's AstraZeneca, another dividend stock, right? I thought dividend stocks were boring. No, dividend stocks aren't boring. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for AZN. I think this is another wave 1 and another wave 2 that ended at the 50 to 61.8% retracement. We're within wave 3 of wave 3 right now. We just saw AZN break to a new all-time high. So that's a lot of evidence from the healthcare sector. Wait a minute, where's the bear count on AZN? Where's the bear count on Berk B? where's the bear count on John Deere? And pretty soon, where's the bear count on Tesla? Okay, I can't ask that to my broker, but I can ask that to, people on Finchwood. Anyway, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. Or then a large wave 3 right now. I think that large wave 3 target is going to end up being 82 because this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. The conservative wave 3 target on the smaller degree is 71 before a shallow wave 4, the retest the wave 1 high, the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low. Says all in all, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can take AstraZeneca to 82. In my opinion, that's going to end this black wave 3 wolf consolidation and then eventually go higher. So that's AZN. Here's Chevron. I'll talk about oil. I really like talking about oil right now in the long term, but we'll talk about a few stocks in the energy infrastructure side of oil that might be short-term ideas. But anyway, this is Chevron. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a big wave 1 and a wave 2. Now, it sounded silly for a long time that this is actually called the grand super cycle. I didn't make that up. Anyway, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. And it sounded silly for a long time that a major wave 2 could be putting in from an Elliott wave perspective, right? But it happened. And this is a massive wave 3 in progress right now. The 161.8% extension of this huge wave 1 is 210. And guess what? ExxonMobil is still below the wave 1 high, right? So what I'm trying to say, and all I really care about for oil right now, I know about ET, and I like REG too in the energy infrastructure part of oil. But in the long term, I don't think gas prices are going away. I really don't. I think this is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for ExxonMobil. And we just saw that Chevron has exploded above this wave 1 high. So we can see ExxonMobil above this wave 1 high soon. And ultimately, in the long term, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. Even if there's a huge wave 3 and a wave 4 that retests the wave 1 high, wave 5 should be the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low. And in the long term, we can see ExxonMobil go up to the 190s. Now, that's the long term, okay? That's a long way away, hopefully. ET and RIG in the short term are why I'm not going to bet against oil in the short term. These are kind of more energy infrastructure ideas. I know that there's, a lot going on with Russia and stuff like that, but we've been talking about these since they were on option screeners in December and November. But anyway, we're not supposed to talk about that. Anyway, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. This is a huge wave 3 that, in my opinion, has been confirmed for ET energy transfer. So the minimum wave 3 target is 14.50. Realistically, we're going to go to the 161.8% extension. That's a mouthful of the wave 3 target, which is about 15 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. If wave 4 retests the wave 1 high and wave 5 is the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low, then all in all, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can take ET to 18. Okay, and ET going to 18 is not going to be fun for people who pay for gas. It's also it should, be good for a lot of oil infrastructure stocks, though. I think Transocean is another one. RIG, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave 1 and a wave 2. The length of wave 1 placed the wave 2 low. Says it, very similar to ET, has confirmed it's within a wave 3. The next target is about 7 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. All in all, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can take Transocean to 9. So anyway, that's why I'm not betting against oil in the short term. And that's also why I'm, more focused on oil in the long term. Here's Boeing. I think this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. I think this is another wave 1 and another wave 2. We're going to enter a wave 3, wave 3. I talked about Carnival Cruise Lines, of almost identical count recently. But the wave 3 target is the 161.8% extension of wave 1, which is 360 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. I think JetBlue really supports this message from the airline sector. And I think we're even getting evidence from the energy sector. Used to, before 2020, the classical traders would say that oil was a leading indicator for stocks. And of course, they were using that as evidence that stocks were going to go down because oil was pretty weak, right? But I think it's funny now that oil is leading, stocks higher, that now we don't say, oh, oil is a leading indicator anymore. I still think oil is a leading indicator. I just got a call from my broker. Anyway, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for JetBlue. Sorry, I don't actually have calls from my broker because I don't trade on margin. Okay, anyway, this is a huge wave 1 and an ABC wave 2. I think this is another wave 1 and another wave 2 for JetBlue. We're entering wave 3 of wave 3. The length of wave 1 placed with wave 2 low says the minimum wave 3 target is 26 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. So if we're above 9.89, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. Wave 3 can go up to 26 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. But ultimately, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can take JetBlue to 37. So I like a lot of the transportation stocks. People will say this is a fundamental thesis, but it's not. I think that the transportation stocks are going to follow the oil sector. It really lines up with the Elliott wave and the options market. I think it's going to happen. And we'll talk about where some of these correlations might be coming from in a second with platinum. For Carnival Cruise Lines, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. I think this is another wave 1 and another wave 2 at the 78.6% fib. We're going to enter a wave 3 all the way up to the 161.8% extension, which is about 43 for CCL. Here's Draftkings. It's in the reopening sector, but it's also a growth stock, right? It's kind of like Disney. It's kind of like Uber, where, it makes you wonder, wait a minute, are the reopening stocks and the travel stocks and the transportation stocks, are they going to rally with the growth stocks? Because Uber would kind of support that. DraftKings, in my opinion, supports that. So does Disney. It's just something I think about. But anyway, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave 1 and an ABC wave 2 that ended at the 78.6% fib. The length of wave 1 plays to the wave 2 low. It's going to take DraftKings all the way up to 80 in the big picture. Now, I know it sounds outlandish that DraftKings can go to 80, but stocks don't really do the conservative thing. If there's a flaw with DraftKings, is that there's not really a great low to trade against. So I genuinely, when I invest in growth stocks, I manage that risk with position size. Okay, I'm never going to sell Lee. I'm never going to sell XPEP. I'm never going to sell Alibaba unless they go substantially higher. Because otherwise I manage the downside risk with position sizing. So that's kind of how I feel about DraftKings, but I do think it's going to enter a huge wave 3, go past 74, and maybe it'll form a wave 1 and a wave 2 and give this low to trade against. But I manage risk with growth, with position sizing, and I think that this is a huge wave 1 and an ABC wave 2 for DraftKings, and is an example of growth and reopening possibly moving together in the future. Here is Platinum. So Platinum, I just wanted to talk about, this picture was taken in March of 2020, showing the near perfect correlation between platinum, this gray line, and crude oil, this black line. So I think that we're going to see possibly in the future that crude oil really staging this recovery in hindsight is going to have been a huge leading indicator that the metals were going to stage this recovery as well. I think the Elliott wave really supports that idea. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for platinum PPLT. This is a huge wave 3 in progress, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of evidence in the metal sector. Goldfields made a new high. PVG made a new high, but also Royal Gold is about to make a new all-time high. Palladium made a new all-time high a long time ago. I think platinum and silver are lagging right now, but I don't think they're actually the laggard metals. I think they're just the last opportunity. Let's say wave 1 and wave 2 for PPLT. I think we hold 80 and enter a wave 3 all the way up to 150 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. If wave 4 retests the wave 1 high and wave 5 is the length of wave 1 places wave 4 low, we could see platinum go all the way up to 200. Now, it's kind of a small, is not necessarily a short-term count, but that's not like the all-time count. That's not where platinum would stop in the big picture. Anyway, here's Tesla. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2. This is another wave 1 and another wave 2 at the 61.8% retracement. And pretty soon, we're going to see Tesla above 1243. And then it's going to join AstraZeneca. It's going to join John Deere. It's going to join Berkshire Hathaway, where we have to find bear counts on these. And I don't think there is one. We're going to call everything an expanded flat, but I don't think they are. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2. For Tesla, I think it's within a huge wave 3. The conservative wave 3 target is 1400. Now, the reason that I'm going to keep talking about 1400 is because that is over 100% from a lot of my posts this summer about Tesla. So whenever I'm up 100% in any position, I always sell half to remove the original risk of the trade. And then I decide if I want to continue to have that exposure. So, I'll have to make that decision. But Tesla will be up 100% from, the summer, and it's up nearly 300, 400% from prior entries before that. And all of those entries were preceded by tons of readings on the bar chart straddle and strangle screener, including this one. So anyway, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. The length of wave 1 place of the wave 2 low says they are playing a huge move, and it's probably beyond 1400. But even if there's a shallow wave 4 that retests the wave 1 high, even if there's a shallow wave 4 that retests the wave 1 high that I would never trade in my wildest dreams, then wave 5 would be the length of wave 1 plays at the wave 4 low, and ultimately Tesla can go all the way to the 1900s. And we're getting a lot of holistic clean energy rallies. I don't think today was just the first day, but today was kind of, one where it's like, okay, now it's the whole clean energy sector. And now Tesla isn't even the one that's leading. We're starting to see, one day isn't a trend, but the small caps now in the clean energy sector are starting to lead. And that could be a lot of fun. Anyway, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for Enphase Energy. And this is, no hyperbole, the biggest holding of nearly every clean energy ETF, right? So some stocks are special because they're blue chips. Other stocks are special because they're the biggest holdings of ETFs. So if we know where they're going, we know where the whole sector is going. And QCLN, the biggest holdings besides OWN Semiconductor, which always surprises me, the biggest holding of QCLN, the three are NIO, Tesla, and Enphase Energy. I think NIO is getting evidence from Tesla and Enphase Energy that this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. I think Enphase Energy is within a big wave 3 to the 280s before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. We'll talk about beyond that when we get there, but I think we're going to need to talk about beyond that. Here's Plug Power. We'll talk about Lucid Motors. There's a lot. I could throw a dart at the small cap clean energy sector and say, I like that. Okay, I really could. But anyway, Plug Power for this video, we'll talk about, I think this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. I think it's within a huge wave 3 up to, the first thing it's got to do is break this high of 75. I know that sounds crazy. Oh, no, stocks never make new all-time highs. Okay. Maybe one day Plug will be above 75, and then the minimum wave 3 target is 92 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. We definitely can't talk about beyond 92, but I do think Plug Power is going to hold this wave 2 low. I think it's going to head be above 75 quicker than a lot of us think. And I think that there's a couple of, these small cap names that, I could even name some off the top of my head, like Acromoto, like Workhorse, like a lot of small cap clean energy stocks, Vivo Power, Polar Power, some stocks that, really they're too risky, and they are extremely risky, but they have a lot of upside, right? They have a lot of upside. I think Fuelcell is a great example of that. It's a huge wave 1 and a wave 2, and if it holds this wave 2 low and goes and breaks the wave 1 high, then that's the risk reward right there. But realistically, wave 3 could go well past the wave 1 high. And I think for Plug Power, I think for Fuelcell, I think for NIO, that is going to happen. We are going to go well past the wave 1 high for wave 3. So the minimum expectation for wave 3 is that we go break above the wave 1 high. Okay, the reason I'm not going to talk about the length of wave 1, place of the wave 2 low, being the conservative wave 3 target, and then we have a shallow wave 4, the retest the wave 1 high, and then wave 5 is the length of wave 1, place of the wave 4 low, is because no one is really ready to hear the idea that NIO could be a $100 stock, right? That's too crazy. This guy's got a YouTube channel. I get it. Okay, I really get it. But I think this is a wave 1 and an ABC wave 2 for NIO. And another reason that I don't really want to put a cap on where some of these price targets could go is because we're still talking about Tesla setups like to this day. And I think that for a lot of these clean energy stocks, I'm not trying to be over dramatic. For a lot of these clean energy stocks in the small cap realm, of the sector, I do think we could see that this is a wave 1 and a wave 2, very similar to Plug Power being a wave 1 and a wave 2, very similar to Workhorse being a wave 1 and a wave 2, very similar to Fuelcell being a wave 1 and a wave 2, very similar to NIO being a wave 1 and an ABC wave 2 at the 61.8% retracement. Then we'll hold the wave 2 low and go on a wave 3. But wave 3 is going to go past the wave 1 high, right? And when it does, then in my opinion, a lot of the clean energy stocks, especially the small cap ones, are going to have ended up being Tesla right here, right? And we're still talking about Tesla to this day. Even at 1,400, we'll still be talking about Tesla. Even at 1,900, we'll still be talking about Tesla. So they're really, there's not a great cap to where, that's where NIO would stop in the long term. That's where Plug would stop in the long term. That's where Fuelcell would stop in the long term. We don't know. We do know the downside risk. We can always do that, but I think that we ever saw that Plug Power was above the wave 1 high, that Fuelcell was above the wave 1 high, that NIO was above the wave 1 high. It could, for some of them, end up being this, right, in the long term. I know we hate the word long term, but that's where a lot of the money is made. Lucid Motors, right, in the long term, could be an IPO base, a huge IPO base. I think this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. I think this is another wave 1 and another ABC wave 2. So I think we're going to hold above 16 and enter wave 3. Just like all those stocks we talked about, going past the wave 1 high is the minimum expectation for wave 3. We can talk about much further targets beyond 57, but I do think Lucid Motors is going to go above 57. for wave 3, and it's going to be an IPO base breakout. So that's Lucid Motors. I want to talk about a lot of the clean energy stocks, especially the small cap clean energy stocks, but NIO is also a Chinese stock, and I think NetEase is going to be the Chinese internet stock for this video. This is a huge wave 1 and a wave 2 for NetEase on the all-time chart, right? This is the all-time chart. So a lot of people, right? What if I get called a bag holder tomorrow, right? What if I wake up and there's an article about, a factory being shut down in some country, right? Well, I don't know if China's still shutting down factories, but anyway, you get the point. It's not about tomorrow. This is the all-time chart, right? You don't think there were headlines about stocks and, all these reasons to be bearish and bullish during all this time? Yes, there were. Okay, in the all-time long-term charts, you got to be able to block out the noise. I think this is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for NetEase. I think this is another wave 1 and another wave 2. And this underscores the opportunity, not just in emerging markets, not just in software, but Chinese internet, Chinese growth specifically. It could be a sector that really, makes people say maybe being called a bag holder was worth it. For me, I don't really think I'm going to regret buying Alibaba at the 160s. I don't think I'm going to regret buying any of the Chinese stocks. I really think that for a lot of them, my biggest regret is going to be that I didn't buy more. I really do. So anyway, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for NetEase. The length of wave 1 placed the wave 2 low says it's going to go all the way up to the 160s before shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. If wave 4 retests the wave 1 high and wave 5 is the length of wave 1 placed the wave 4 low, then all in all, NetEase could go to the 230s. And in my opinion, that would just end this black wave 3 on the all-time chart. So there's a lot of upside for NetEase. It wouldn't be, tomorrow, but what I wanted to remind with NetEase, and the reason I chose to include it, is because NetEase and Baidu are in the SOCL social media ETF. And this is one thing I talked about for a little bit, was that the software stocks are also social media stocks. And a lot of the Chinese stocks in the Chinese internet sector, they're also in these social media ETFs. And we're starting to get more holistic evidence from the social media stocks like Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. So anyway, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. This is another wave 1 and another wave 2 for Facebook, right? And one kind of point I wanted to make, let me check my battery. One point I wanted to make was Netflix and Disney and Starbucks and Boeing and a lot of blue chips, right? What's a blue chip? I define a blue chip as something where if I tell someone who doesn't look at charts, they don't know what Elliott Wave is, they think Elliott Wave is some guy, right? Or they don't know what the cup and handle is, right? If you don't know what a chart pattern is, and I tell you, hey, I'm buying Facebook, I'm buying Starbucks, I'm buying Boeing, I'm buying Disney, right? They're not going to ask why, right? Why are you buying, right? Because to them, that just makes sense. That's what I think a blue chip is. Like when I told people I was buying Pfizer, no one was like, oh, is it because it's wave 3? They were like, oh yeah, duh. Right, duh, you're buying, well, anyway, I think that a lot of blue chips are at the 61.8 to 78.6% retracement. I think Facebook's a good example of that. But Facebook is also a social media stock. It's a wave 1 and a wave 2, just like Snapchat. It's a wave 2 that ends at the 78.6% retracement. The length of wave 1 places the wave 2 low, says I do think Facebook will hold above that kind of 185, 186 level. It's going to go on a wave 3 past the wave 1 high of 384 all the way to the 430s for a conservative wave 3 target in the long term before shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. Now, some of these charts, you kind of have to look at them in the long term, right? Someone said that Twitter hasn't done anything for, 9 years. What I thought was interesting. It looks to me like it formed a massive base and then it broke out and back tested the base. That's what Twitter's been doing for the past 9 years. But anyway, I think on the big chart of Twitter, this is the wave 1 and a wave 2. Now, I know, this happened. It had to have happened because of some fundamental thing. I get it, right? Elon Musk buys 9% of a stock. A guy makes a YouTube video saying it was because of Elliott Wave and the bar chart straddle screener. I get it, all right? If you've been, paying attention for a while now, you start to realize these can't all be coincidences. Yes, Twitter was all over the bar chart straddle screener, and yes, I did post about Twitter before this, but I must have gotten lucky. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2, and they're just going to say that huge volume bar was Elon Musk, right? I can just see someone saying that, yep, that volume bar right there, that big green one, yeah, that's Elon. That's when Elon went in his Robinhood account That's when he bought it. Anyway, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for Twitter. This is an ABC correction that ends at the 78.6% fib. I believe Twitter's within wave 3, going above this wave 1 high of 80 all the way up to 90 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. If wave 4 retests the wave 1 high and wave 5 is the wave 1 place of the wave 4 low, maybe Twitter could be in the mid 100s in the long term, right? In the long term. And I don't think that we can just look at Twitter. I don't think we can just look at Facebook, but we have holistic evidence from lots of social media stocks like Snapchat that we could see the social media stocks rally, right? And if I just replace the word social media with software, that's eventually, in my opinion, what's going to play out. So I think the social media stocks are giving a lot of evidence to software bulls. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave 1 for Snapchat and an ABC wave 2 that ends right around that 78.6% fib. The length of wave 1 placed with the wave 2 low says Snapchat will go on a wave 3, possibly to 100 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. So that's a lot of upside for Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook. And those are all social media stocks that are in a lot of the same ETFs as the Chinese internet stocks like NetEase and like Baidu. Here's Fiverr. Fiverr is an e-commerce stock. It's also a global, e-commerce stock. We like the emerging markets a lot. When I say we, I mean me. I don't know. I consult with myself. Anyway, this is a wave 1 and an ABC wave 2 at the 78.6% retracement for Fiverr. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big wave 1, right? So from an Elliott wave perspective, if this is wave 1, then that means it'll be replicated at least twice. Once for wave 3 and once for wave 5. So should I think that an opportunity like that is going to be really easy? No. To take advantage of an opportunity like that, should I buy an option that expires in 6 weeks? Probably not. Okay, I think that this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. And this is a stock that I personally would be managing risk with a position size. Whenever I invest in growth like e-commerce or EV, I really don't set like a stop and say, oh, well, I'm wrong below that. I just hold it and I manage the risk up front with position sizing. So for Fiverr, I'd look at this and I'd say this is an e-commerce stock, right? So if I'm completely wrong, then I don't need exposure to the e-commerce sector. And if I'm right, then I basically got leveraged exposure to the e-commerce sector. I got a huge winner. A huge winner because the length of wave 1 places the wave 2 low would ultimately take Fiverr up to the 370s for a minimum wave 3 target. A minimum wave 3 target before a shallow wave 4 that retests the wave 1 high. But realistically, wave 3 doesn't just go make a marginal new high above the wave 1 high. But even if there's a shallow wave 4 that retests the wave 1 high, the length of wave 1 places the wave 4 low in the future, in the long term, could take Fiverr to the 650s. And it's at 80 right now, right? So, a lot of people have these dreams of, buying stocks that 5x and 6x and 8x. Well, guess what? Those stocks that do that, they have 61.8 to 78.6% retracements, right? We all want to catch 500% monsters, okay? But people who are afraid of being called bag holders, they don't do that ever, right? Oh, I was wrong. All right, I'm out. If you're a retail trader, then you shouldn't be shocked when you're wrong. Anyway, this is an ABC correction. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for Fiverr. The length of wave 1 placed with the wave 2 low says that a lot of e-commerce stocks with Fiverr internationally could rally. And I think that Fiverr is going to go up to 370 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. And this is one of those stocks that makes you look at PayPal, makes you look at Shopify and say, these could be, what some of those tech stocks were at the end of the 2000s, right? Where they had the 61.8 to 78.6% retracement. Everyone said, oh, Amazon's a fad, right? MasterCard's a fad, right? Apple's a fad. Shopify is a dog. The Kager sucks. The moat's trash. This is the wave 1 and a wave 2. When we're above the wave 1 high, it's going to be real easy for someone to write in their Substack, oh yeah, it's because the moat and the Kager and the, and the CEO and their new strategy, right? It's not very easy to do that at the 61.8% retracement, is it? No, it's not. This is the wave 1 and a wave 2. Like Fiverr, right? Wave 3, conservatively would be 2,249 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. I mean, the upside really, to me, I'll just be honest, the upside that I see with PayPal, Square Cash, Shopify, and Fiverr and realistically, I'd add Alibaba to that too, is that they are tech in the late 2000s. That's the upside, and I'll figure out the downside. That's what I see as the upside, and a lot of that downside I'm managing with position size. So anyway, here's Square Cash. A lot of people who don't know anything about charts, don't know anything about Elliott Wave. A lot of people caught the NASDAQ for 10 years, the biggest rally that's ever occurred in any index ever, right? They caught the index that holds Apple and Amazon and Microsoft and Facebook before they exploded and, became some of the greatest investments ever. They caught the index that held that with their largest position investing in their 401ks. And the people who looked at, there's momentum of divergence on the RSI, there's a rising wedge pattern, there's the head and shoulders, none of them caught it. None of them. All right, the professional traders, they're not going to catch this, okay? The people who act like they're, I'm an idiot, I'm just buying Square Cash because I'm a dummy, right? They're going to be the ones who, wave 1, wave 2, wake up 5 years from now, 6 years from now with a 10x, 15x, or whatever. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2, right? They literally scare you out on this chart twice. I think this is another wave 1 and another wave 2 at the 78.6% retracement. The length of wave 1 placed the wave 2 low. Says Square Cash can go all the way up to 339 for wave 3 before shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. If wave 4 retests the wave 1 high and wave 5 is the length of wave 1 places the wave 4 low, then Square Cash can go up to the, can I even say this out loud, the 540s. And in my opinion, that would just end this black wave 3. So there's a lot of upside in these names. Right now, there is a downside level of 82. That's getting pretty wide, but that's why I manage a lot of the risk up front, right? And I can go all day with these e-commerce stocks, right? Wayfair, right? Wayfair is a fad. PayPal is a fad. Square Cash is a fad. Shopify is a fad. Okay. We'll see how that sounds. We'll see if you don't change your outlook on their CAGR when they're up at new all-time highs. Wayfair, wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2. The length of wave 1 placed with wave 2 low. What we just say for Square Cash, very similar idea. The conservative wave 3 target is the 440s, the 450s before shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. How many retail traders do you think are going to catch this? Not many. None. You think any that are looking at momentum divergence on the RSI and talking about head and shoulders patterns? And no, forget about it. Forget about it. Here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an e-cash, e-commerce idea. It's another one, 7x, 8x from, entries that were, that's never going to happen. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2. I think this is another wave 1 and another wave 2. So all that matters for Bitcoin is from this low. I think this is a wave 1 and a wave 2 that occurred. So we're within wave 3. The length of wave 1 placed with wave 2 low gives the wave 3 target of 73K that I do believe will be too conservative. We'll have a shallow wave 4 that retests the wave 1 high. Then wave 5 will be the length of wave 1 placed with the wave 4 low. And all in all, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can take Bitcoin up to 108, 109,000. I think this wave 2 low holds of 33K. It's getting a little wide. We'll talk about Solana and Ethereum, why there could be, a lot more evidence than just looking at Bitcoin, right? We can't just stare at SPY. Well, we also can't just stare at Bitcoin. We're not even going to talk about Marathon Patent Group or Riot or Hut in this video, which I think are very similar to the idea that we have, a lot of supporting evidence for Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we'll talk about Solana as kind of more evidence from the altcoins. This is a wave 1 and a wave 2 for Ethereum. I think it's within a wave 3 right now. The length of wave 1 placed with wave 2 low gives a conservative wave 3 target of 5.3K, even if there's a shallow wave 4 that retests the wave 1 high. If wave 5 was the length of wave 1 placed with the wave 4 low, then all in all, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can take Ethereum up to 8,000. Here's Solana. Solana's starting to turn around. It's one of those altcoins that has always kind of been like, we can't really, this isn't the blow off top that we see in Bitcoin. This isn't the crazy blow off top crash count that we see in Ethereum, right? Cardano and Solana, they were at the 61.8 to 78.6% retracement, right? So there wasn't really if there was a crash count that took Bitcoin to 20K, it was basically going to take Solana and Cardano to 0, right? Which is possible, but Right now, we're seeing that Cardano and Solana are having pretty strong reactions from the 61.8% retracement. I believe both of them have ended really important wave twos, and I think both of them are also supporting evidence for Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is a wave one and a wave two. The length of wave one placed the wave two low. Says Solana can go up to the 330s for a wave 3 target before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. So that's probably going to coincide with Bitcoin doing pretty well. I think Solana's put in this wave 2 low at 75. The next wave 3 target is 337 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher.